Hi, I'm Bob Taylor, and I'm here with another installment of Factory Fridays, and we're here in the side bending department at Taylor Guitars, and I'm with Gilbert Ardea, who manages this department and is an expert side bender. He's bent, how many sides do you think you've bent?
I have no...
Thousands.
More than thousands, tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands, so you've seen all the ins and outs of it. Yeah. So we're going to take the people through and just kind of show them the benders, how they work, and I'm going to have you explain what you're looking for and how you set up all of the sides.
Okay.
All right? Gilbert, why don't we start by just coming over here and talking about the two basic benders we have, starting with the bout bender. Do you want to explain a little bit about this bender here?
Okay. Originally, when we had the original benders, there was a piece of metal called a shoe, which kind of was it wasn't really regulated too well with heat. And the main problem that we had was pressure. So now with the new bender here, we have a shim that has even pressure. You can see my hand.
Yeah.
Kind of doesn't really move it too much. It's even pressure in the middle of the waist. So as soon as we hit one of the buttons, the waist starts to bend.
Okay.
So we have even pressure, even heat. I mean, perfect pressure.
So the idea is that we've dissected the bending into nothing but outside curves. So this one is really just bending the waist. That's all it's doing. We're going to slip the sides in there in a few minutes, and we'll bend the waist. Now, after the waist is bent, then it comes over to what we call the bout benders. And maybe you can give us a little rundown on this.
Okay, the bout bender, as soon as the sides come out of the waist bender, we place it in the bout bender. Now, as I showed earlier, there's little things we call locator tabs. Once we put it in here, the locator tab tells the sides where the middle of the waist should be.
Okay.
But once I find that area, I go ahead and make sure it's centered on the shim. I use this wheel to clamp down the waist, press the button, and we're off.
Now these machines have a lot of interlocks on in them. For example, you have to have the correct pressure on this in order for the machine to move into the next phase.
There's a sensor located here. And there's also a sensor located, two sensors on each side located. One tells you when the arms are supposed to stay in the area that they start in. And then when it gets to the top, it also has another locator telling the machine when to stop.
Okay. So those proximity sensors tell it where to bend. This one tells that you've got the proper amount of pressure so it can go forward. And also there's a temperature sensor. It won't bend unless the side is the correct temperature.
I believe it's set at 180 degrees or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's actually higher,
like 280,
like yeah, close to 300 degrees. It's pretty hot. Okay, so now we come over here and we have a set of sides, and we're going to notice, I'm going to show the camera here, that these sides have been cut on a laser. You can see the brown burnt edges from the laser. And you can also see that we have these notches cut in them. We call those keyways, and those are where keys are going to go in to locate everything. And later we'll do, well, this is a cutaway piece, isn't it, Gil? Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
So we have a cutaway piece. So you can see there's a compound curve here because as the cutaway comes in and goes out, the arch of the side has got to be projected onto this straight piece. And then this is the part that wraps all the way around. The non-cutaway piece actually has to be longer to work its way all the way over and underneath the neck and beyond. We're going to wrap these in paper, put them together. I'm going to ask Gil to just go ahead and show us how that process works.
I make sure that the writing's up. Make sure that the hash marks are facing each other. That way I know this is the flat side of the guitar.
Okay, and these are marks that in a previous department where they've matched the sides and the backs together and put them on the laser to cut, they make those marks.
Correct. Then I go ahead and take the tabs. I'll take two of them. Now if you see there's a notch cut in here.
Okay.
These notches, I want them to face each other.
All right.
Okay. With that, I place it into place, put it into place, make sure it's tight. Now take a piece of tape, tape it in place.
Okay. Now these little tabs are made out of wood and they're cut on the laser too, so they're real accurate. Do they wear out after a while?
After a while, sometimes, but we have enough of them where it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. Now that this is ready for paper, I'll pull the paper over. I have a little tape mark telling me how long to cut the paper at.
Okay.
There's a little gap in between the two pieces of metal here, and I just run my blade across.
Perfect.
And I fold it in half towards me.
Uh-huh.
Try to get it as even as possible. Then I'll take the set aside that I've already taped together, place it inside my paper, making sure that the paper still folds near, close to me, and we're ready to bend.
Let's talk about what the paper does. First thing it does, keeps the oils from the different types of wood. Now here we're bending maple and it has no oil in it. But if this were a rosewood piece, which we'll do next, oils are going to boil out of that wood, which gets all over the side bender and turns everything into a filthy mess. So the paper kind of acts as a disposable diaper, so to speak.
Yeah, protection.
Absorbs all that oil. It does something else with the moisture content of the wood too.
Yes, it holds the moisture content in it. It kind of makes the wood sweat.
Yeah.
And by making it sweat, we can use the moisture that's inside the wood, and we don't have to no longer spray, extra wood that we worked so hard to try to get out.
That's right. So with the side bender, with that shim wrapping around the bender so well, and the feed rate being so good, and the paper wrapped around here, we actually utilize the moisture content of the wood itself to bend the sides. Where typically, when you bend guitar sides, you're
spraying it down,
which causes a lot of warping, rippling, that type of thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this one in, and we're going to just let you kind of start loading this up, because eventually you can get all these benders kind of going at the same time. This sort of gets like Willy Wonka.
Yeah, kind of like look like a Oompa Loompa.
All right.
So let's go ahead and put it in here.
Now this one is locating just off the end of the sides there. That's how we're bumping it. Rather
than little step right here. Knowing that this is maple, kind of want to be kind of cautious with it. It's curly maple, it's kind of flamey.
Okay.
And it's flamey also on the waist. So I press slow so that way I can take my time bending it.
Okay, so we have on the waist benders, we have two speeds, fast and slow.
Fast and slow.
Okay.
Fast, I usually put rosewood, sapele, some mahogany, depending on how it looks. Slow, I use it's maple, walnut, koa, more delicate wood that I want to be more cautious with.
And you can see, if you can get the camera in here, how evenly that's moving around.